The morning sun of Coronine filtered through the silver blinds, painting the walls of the shared apartment with soft light. Aaron woke up early, trying to pretend that everything was normal. But nothing had been normal since the day he had accidentally opened the wrong door and seen Lyra. His alien roommate bathing. He hadn't seen much, just a flash of soft blue light, a shape that changed like water under moonlight. It wasn't anything inappropriate, yet it was enough to stay in his mind. The image had been beautiful, strange, and confusing. Lyra was from a species called the Veneer, known for their calm nature and ability to adapt to any environment. Aaron had thought he knew what they looked like. Clearly he'd know, now every time they shared a room. The air felt heavy with quiet awkwardness. Lyra usually started her day with music-soft notes played through a strange crystal device that floated near her desk. But that morning, she was silent. She sat at the table, reading a holographic screen, her long fingers moving slowly as if her thoughts were elsewhere. Aaron stepped into the room, holding 2 mugs of tea. "Morning," he said carefully. Her bright eyes lifted for a second. "Good morning, Aaron." Her voice was smooth but distant. He placed a mug near her and took the seat across from her. "You didn't play your music today? I wasn't in the mood." Silence again. Aaron took a deep breath. "Look, about that day." She raised her hand gently. "It was an accident. Let us not speak of it." Just her gaze softened a little. "Humans are not used to seeing what they do not understand." "I forgive you," Aaron nodded, though forgiveness didn't make the awkwardness go away. He sipped his tea, trying to think of something normal to say. "So, you're still working on your research about interspecies neural patterns?" "Yes." A small smile touched her lips. "It helps me understand how different minds share empathy." "It is complex, but beautiful." "Empathy, huh?" He looked at her. "I could use a bit of that right now." Lyra tilted her head slightly, studying him in that calm, analytical way she had. "You feel guilt, but it is not needed. The Vanir believe that intent shapes truth. Your intent was never to harm or invade." Aaron chuckled nervously. "Still, I keep remembering that light. When I saw you, it was like you changed shape." Her expression flickered. "We do not call it changing shape. It is our natural state when we are unguarded." "Unguarded." "Yes. Our forms shift when we are relaxed, like your face softens when you smile." "You saw me as I truly am." Aaron looked down at his cup. "That's the problem. I didn't expect beauty." The moment froze between them. Lyra's translucent skin glowed faintly like ripples of ocean light moving under glass. Then she looked away. "Beauty is a dangerous word among my people," she said quietly. "It often leads to misunderstanding." Later that day, Aaron went to the research lab, where he and Lyra both worked. The lab was filled with strange sounds machines, humming, soft clicks of holographic keys, and the low rhythm of distant air filters. The human and alien scientists worked side by side, studying brainwave patterns from dozens of species. Aaron was good with data, but Lyra was better with meaning. She could see patterns where he saw noise as they stood near the holotable. She gestured at a cluster of light dots forming a spiral. "See here," she said. "The human mind responds to emotional frequency in ways similar to ours. That is why we can live together without discomfort. Unless someone walks into the wrong room," Aaron muttered under his breath. Lyra looked up, and to his surprise, she laughed a clear, musical sound that made the tension melt a little. "Perhaps it was meant to happen," she said. "Some things are seen only once, yet they change everything." Her words stayed with him all day. When they returned home, the sky was dim with soft violet clouds. Coronine's twin moons were rising, their light filling the apartment like liquid silver. Lyra stood by the balcony, watching them. Aaron joined her quietly. "They look like Earth's moon, but brighter," he said. "Your moon carries reflection," she replied. "Ours carry memory," he frowned. "Memory. Yes. We believe the moons remember everything seen from their light. Every secret, every truth, every moment of honesty." Aaron smiled faintly. "Then they must have seen my mistake too." "They saw your curiosity," she said gently. "That is not a mistake." He turned toward her. "You really don't hate me for that?" Hate, she repeated softly. No, Aaron, among my kind. To be seen as we truly are is rare. You saw me as I am? That means you are part of my truth now. He didn't know what to say. The night air felt thick with something unspoken, a quiet understanding that maybe what had started as embarrassment was turning into something else. Days passed and their rhythm slowly returned. Lyra smiled more often, and Aaron no longer felt the same nervousness when they worked together. But small things still reminded him of that day, the way her eyes shimmered under light, or how her skin seemed to glow faintly when she laughed one evening. While they were having dinner, a message beeped on Lyra's device. She looked at it, her calm expression fading slightly. "What's wrong?" Aaron asked. "It is from the council," she said. "They are asking about my research and my living arrangement with you." He blinked. "The council? Like your government?" "Yes. They are curious why Ivania would choose to share living space with a human. It is uncommon." Aaron frowned. "Do they think it's wrong?" "They think it is strange." She smiled faintly. "But then again, I have always been strange." He leaned back. "What will you tell them?" "The truth," she said simply. "That I am learning more from one human than from 100 reports." He grinned. "That sounds almost flattering." "It is meant to be," she said. And there was a softness in her voice that made him look up. For a long moment, they just sat there. The silence between them, no longer awkward, but warm like something fragile, growing slowly into trust. That night, Aaron couldn't sleep. He walked to the balcony and looked at the moons again. The air was cool and filled with distant sounds from the city below. Behind him, he heard Lyra's voice, soft and calm. "You are awake." He turned and saw her standing in the doorway, wearing a simple robe that shimmered faintly with light. "Couldn't sleep," he admitted. "Too many thoughts." She stepped closer, her expression gentle. "Thoughts can be heavy when kept alone." "Yeah," he said. "I just keep thinking how weird it is. We come from different worlds, but somehow this feels right." She looked at him with those glowing eyes. "Perhaps it is because we are both curious beings. Curiosity connects all life." He smiled. "And maybe curiosity is the first step to friendship." "Maybe," she agreed softly, "or something deeper." For a moment, the wind moved between them, carrying the scent of the alien night and the quiet hum of the moons above. Neither spoke again, but both knew that something had changed, not because of what he had seen, but because of what they were now beginning to understand. And as the moons of Coronine shone down, Aaron finally realized that sometimes the most unexpected moments lead to the most human connections, no matter what form they take. The next morning came quietly. The twin moons of Coronine had already set, leaving a soft blue sky filled with drifting lights from the upper city. Aaron woke early, his mind still full of last night's strange but peaceful conversation with Lyra. For the first time since the accident in the bathroom, he didn't feel embarrassed anymore. Instead, he felt curious about her world, her people, and the strange glow that seemed to live under her skin like liquid starlight. Lyra was already up when he entered the kitchen. She was watering the small crystal plants that grew in silver pots near the window. The plants shimmered faintly, responding to her touch. "Morning," Aaron said, trying to sound casual. "Good morning," she replied without turning. "You dreamt restlessly." He blinked. "You could tell." "I could sense it," she said. "Your emotions ripple in the air, like sound. Humans are loud, even when silent." He laughed softly. "Guess I can't hide much from a veneer roommate." She looked over her shoulder, her eyes catching the light. "You hide less than you think, Aaron. That is why I stay." Her words stayed with him long after breakfast. Later that day, the two went to the Central University for a presentation. Lyra was supposed to show her latest findings about empathy waves, a kind of mental energy that connected emotional beings across species. Aaron helped her with the data models. The auditorium was filled with dozens of beings. Humans, Svenir, and other species Aaron didn't even know the names of. As the lights dimmed, Lyra stepped onto the stage. Her calm, graceful movements drew everyone's attention. She began to speak in her clear voice. Empathy, she said, is not a human invention nor a veneer trait. It is the universal bridge of all intelligent life. Through understanding, we evolve beyond fear. Her holographic screen glowed behind her, showing colorful patterns, brainwave forms from different species merging together. Aaron watched proudly from the side, admiring her poise. But as the presentation continued, he noticed something odd. The patterns began to flicker, and a faint light appeared around Lyra's form. At first, he thought it was just the projection, but then the light grew brighter, rippling softly under her skin. The audience gasped, whispering among themselves. Lyra hesitated, her glowing hands tightening on the console. Please, she said calmly, remain seated. The light is harmless. Aaron rushed forward. Lyra, are you okay? He whispered. I am fine, she said, though her voice trembled slightly. I did not expect this reaction. My body is responding to the empathy field. The colors on the screen danced faster. Her glow pulsed like a heartbeat. Then suddenly, the room filled with a wave of warmth, feeling so peaceful that everyone stopped whispering. It was like being wrapped in calm sunlight then. Just as quickly as it came, the glow faded. The lights returned to normal, and Lyra steadied herself. There was silence. Then the audience began to applaud. The council observers in the front row nodded with interest, recording every detail. After the presentation, Aaron helped Lyra backstage. What was that? He asked. You looked like you were about to collapse. She smiled weakly. It was an overflow. When too many minds connect through emotion, my form reacts. It shows what I feel. And what were you feeling? She looked at him quietly. Trust. That evening, they returned home exhausted. Lyra sat on the couch, her eyes half closed. The apartment lights were dim, and the hum of the city floated through the window. Aaron handed her a glass of mineral water. Here, drink this. You used a lot of energy. Thank you, she said softly. She took the glass, and her fingers brushed his. A faint shimmer passed between them, like static but warm. Aaron blinked. What was that? She smiled faintly. You are curious again. Can't help it, he said. You keep glowing and doing things that feel like magic. It is not magic. It is emotion. You humans call it energy of the heart. We call it Luma. Luma, he repeated, like light. Yes, she said. The light within. All living beings have it, but only few can show it. Does it hurt you? He asked quietly. She shook her head. No, but it makes me vulnerable. The more I feel, the more I shine. Aaron smiled gently. That doesn't sound so bad. Among my kind, it is considered dangerous, she said. To shine too brightly means you are attached. And attachment makes one weak, he frowned. That's not weakness, Lyra. That's being alive. Her eyes softened, but she said nothing more. Days passed, and their bond grew deeper. They laughed more often, shared meals, and sometimes stayed up late talking about their planets. Aaron told her stories about Earth-blue skies, oceans, music and rain. Lyra listened with quiet wonder. One night, she asked, if you could go back to Earth, would you leave Cora 9? He hesitated. I'm not sure. I came here to study, not to stay. But now, I have a reason to. Lyra looked away quickly. Be careful, Aaron. Words like that carry light, he chuckled. What's that supposed to mean? It means they stay inside you, and they grow. The next day, Lyra received another message from the council. This time, her face grew serious as she read. What is it? Aaron asked. They have requested I return to the Vanir sector for evaluation, she said quietly. They believe my empathy experiments are too unstable. Unstable? You didn't hurt anyone. They do not understand emotional energy the way you do, she replied. They fear what they cannot control. Aaron clenched his fists. Then I'll go with you. I can explain the science, she smiled sadly. No, Aaron. Humans are not permitted in the Vanir core. It would only make things harder. Then what will you do? I will go, she said simply. And I will come back if I am allowed. He stared at her. If you're allowed? That sounds like they might not let you leave. Lyra didn't answer. She simply looked at him, her glow faintly pulsing with quiet emotion. Aaron's chest tightened. Lyra, you don't have to go alone. Her voice softened. Aaron, you saw me as I truly am. That connection will not fade, no matter where I go. He swallowed hard. I don't want it to fade. She stepped closer, her light brushing gently against him like a soft breeze. Then keep it safe. Keep it human. That night, neither of them slept much. The apartment was silent, except for the distant hum of the city. Lyra stood by the window, watching the stars of Cora-9. Aaron joined her quietly. You're really leaving tomorrow? Yes. He sighed. Then let me remember this moment. She looked at him. Humans and their memories, she said softly. You keep them like fragile stones. They remind us what matters, he said. She smiled. Then remember this. Aaron, our light meets again, where memory and truth are one. Before he could answer, she reached out and gently touched his chest, right over his heart. A soft glow spread through him, warm and calm. What did you do? He whispered. I shared a fragment of my Luma, she said. So you will never forget that you once saw beyond form. Then she stepped back, her glow fading slowly into the quiet night. Aaron watched her, feeling the faint warmth inside him like a piece of her. Light now lived within him as the first rays of morning touched the horizon. He whispered, Come back soon, Lyra. In the distance, far beyond the glowing towers of Cora-9, a single transport ship rose into the sky. Leaving a streak of soft blue light, Aaron stood at the window until it disappeared among the stars. He felt both heavy and hopeful, because deep inside, under his heartbeat, he could still feel the gentle pulse of Lyra's Luma. The days after Lyra's departure felt longer than usual. The apartment on Cora-9 was quieter now, filled only with the hum of air filters and the faint shimmer of city light through the window. Aaron tried to continue his work at the lab, but everything reminded him of Hertha. Empty cups she used for tea. The soft glow her crystal plants still gave off. Even the quiet music her device sometimes played by itself. It had been 2 weeks since she left for the Veneer Corps. No messages, no updates. The council had gone silent. One evening while reviewing data at his console, Aaron felt something strange. A faint warmth spread through his chest, the same warmth he had felt the night she touched his heart. He paused. The light was still inside him, but now it pulsed stronger, like it was calling him Lyra. He whispered, as if she could somehow hear him. For a moment, he thought he was imagining things. Then, the console flickered. A soft blue glow appeared across the screen, forming symbols in the Vanir language. Aaron quickly opened a translator. Aaron, I am safe, but I cannot return yet. The council is testing me, exhaled with relief, smiling faintly. She was alive. But as the message continued, his heart sank. They believe my bond with a human changed my empathy pattern. They call it contamination. They wish to erase it. Aaron's breath caught. Erase it? He stared at the glowing words, his thoughts racing. They can't just take that away from you, he whispered. Then, one last line appeared before the message faded. If they remove the bond, I will forget. But the light inside you will remember. The message ended and the glow vanished. Aaron sat there for a long time, staring at the empty screen. He could feel his heartbeat echoing against the faint. Warmth in his chest, the piece of her Luma she had given him. He knew he couldn't just sit and wait. The next morning, Aaron went to the research facility. He didn't tell anyone what he planned, but he began working quietly on a project he had abandoned months ago, a neural empathy transmitter. It was originally designed to record shared emotions between species. Now, he wanted to reverse it to send emotions across long distances. Days turned into nights. He barely slept. He kept feeling that faint pulse inside his chest. Guiding him, when his assistant asked why he looked so tired, he simply said, I'm trying to reach a friend. After a week of nonstop work, the device was ready, a small silver disc glowing softly with blue light. He held it close and whispered, "If you can still feel me, Lyra, follow this light." He activated it. The room filled with a soft hum. The disc floated upward, pulsing in rhythm with the warmth in his chest. Then, a beam of faint light shot toward the ceiling, vanishing into the sky. Aaron didn't know if it would work, but deep down, he hoped she could feel it. Far away, on the crystalline world of the Vanir core, Lyra sat inside a chamber surrounded by the council. 12 figures of shimmering light watched her quietly. Her body glowed dimly as they examined her empathy readings. One of the elders spoke. "Your bond with the human has altered your light. You are no longer in balance." Lyra lowered her gaze. "Balance is not the same as truth," she said softly. Another elder leaned forward. "Your emotions make you unstable. You must undergo the cleansing." She wanted to speak, to defend herself, but her voice trembled. "If you remove it, will I forget him?" The elders were silent. Then she felt it a pulse, faint but familiar. A rhythm inside her chest that didn't belong to this place. Her eyes widened. "Aaron," she whispered. The elders turned sharply. "What do you sense?" She didn't answer. The pulse grew stronger. A small light began to glow from within her, matching the one on the distant human world. And in that moment, she understood. The bond wasn't just emotion, it was communication. The Luma he carried was calling her home. Back on Coronine, Aaron watched the sky from his balcony. The air shimmered as the moons began to rise. He thought he saw something like a falling star cutting across the horizon. Then, voice echoed softly inside his mind. "Aaron, I hear you." He froze. "Lyra." Yes, the connection was weak, but real. He could feel her emotions through it: fear, hope, longing. "I thought I lost you." He said, "They tried to take my light," she whispered, "but you kept it alive. The bond is stronger than they know." He smiled faintly. "Then come back." "I am trying, but I am far. The council will not allow me to leave." "Then I'll bring you back," he said firmly. "Aaron." "No. It is not safe for humans here. Neither is being without you." For a moment, there was only silence. Then he felt her warmth again, filling him with calm. "If you truly wish to see me again, follow the light inside you. It will guide you." The connection faded. Aaron stood still for a long time. Then, he made a decision. Weeks later, he arrived at the edge of the Vanir core, carrying only his research case and the empathy device. The border officers were surprised, but let him through after seeing his credentials. As a xenoneural scientist, he followed the faint pulse in his chest through glowing valleys and crystal spires until he reached a quiet sanctuary. Surrounded by light, there she was. Lyra stood in the middle of a silver pool, her glow brighter than he had ever seen. When she saw him, her eyes widened in disbelief. "Aaron, you came." He smiled. "You told me to follow the light." She stepped closer, her form shimmering between solid and ethereal. "You should not be here." "The council." "I don't care about the council," he said gently. "I just came to remind you who you are." Her glow trembled. "They said humans are too emotional, that your feelings cloud reason." He nodded. "Maybe they're right, but that's what makes us human. And maybe that's what makes you more alive." For a moment, the air around them pulsed with quiet energy. Her glow grew softer, warmer, like sunrise through mist. She reached out her hand. "Aaron, if they see you, I'm not leaving," he said simply. Then the Luma inside him responded. A beam of blue light shone from his chest, connecting to hers. The two lights merged, swirling in the air between them like twin currents of emotion and memory. The entire chamber glowed. Lyra gasped softly. "It's our bond. It's remembering us." Images flashed in her mind, the tea they shared, the night under the moons, his laughter, her song. Everything they had felt together returned like a wave of light. The council entered but stopped at the doorway. The brilliance was too strong to approach. One elder whispered, "Impossible." "A human carrying Vanir light?" Lyra turned to them, her voice calm but powerful. "It is not contamination. It is connection. Aaron stood beside her, his heart still glowing. You wanted proof of empathy between species. Here it is. For a long moment, the chamber was silent. Then, slowly, the elders lowered their hands. The bond is pure, one finally said. It does not weaken, it unites. The light began to fade, leaving only the two of them standing there, smiling at each other. Days later, they returned to Coronine together. The city welcomed them with quiet rain that shimmered under the moons. Lyra looked around the apartment, now filled with warm light again. It feels different, she said. Aaron smiled. It's because you're home. She touched her chest where her light softly pulsed. Home, she repeated thoughtfully. Maybe it is not a place. Maybe it is the one who remembers your true form. He nodded. Then I guess we're both home now. They stood together by the balcony, watching the glowing towers and silver sky. The world felt peaceful again, no awkwardness. No distance. Just two beings from different stars. Connected by the same light, and in that soft silence, the moons rose once more, carrying with them every memory that had ever mattered.